are the New York Knicks. I'm back in the New York groove. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks taking no shorts just like winter. New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
What's the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Hey everybody, it's the New York Knicks podcast, episode 406. I am part of the Almighty Baller Podcast Network and Dash Radio. I am Jay, and with me as always is Mark. How you doing, Mark?
Yes. I feel like is our show monthly now?
Yes. No, we got the computers breaking out of the way. We got the food poisoning out of the way. I think we're good to go now.
Okay, Jay, you said you got food poisoning. Was it food poisoning, or have you just been throwing up watching the Knicks play lately?
Can it be both?
It can be both. Okay, so the Knicks played a bunch of games since we last were on. They what did they do? We did our last show on the 17th, and since that time, they lost to Charlotte, beat Boston, lost to Detroit, lost to Philly, lost to Chicago, lost to San Antonio, and beat the Pelicans. And where are we? We are 18-18. What do you think of the team so far?
I mean, we thought they were going to be one of the worst defensive teams in the league, and they're not. Obviously, expectations might be lowered a little after the last 2 weeks, but overall, they're still outperforming where I thought they'd be.
Yeah, I mean, overall, they're a 500 team. I think at the beginning of the season, we all would have said, wonderful if they're going to go to 500. I guess where I'm thinking now is where do we go from here? The whole point is to win a title, right?
It is.
And this year, are we winning a title?
I would go out on a limb and say no.
So I have some questions for us going forward. The first question is it a disappointing season because there's a camp of people that say the Knicks should tank, get a high draft pick, we need another star, and the best way to get it is tanking, right? And
right.
I thought there weren't people that are still saying that, but there are people still saying that. There are still people saying the Knicks should tank, even though the Knicks are playing competitive basketball. There's another camp of people saying that the Knicks need to do everything possible to get the 8th seed because that will mean so much for the team. I'm in a third camp.
Okay.
Tell me what your third camp. That I don't think it'd be great to make the playoffs. I have no way. I'd want the Knicks to try to win games generally, but not at the expense of future development. I think the Knicks, if we are between 11 and 14, I don't think that's a nightmare. And I think a lot of people look at that scenario as like just missing the playoffs and not being in the lottery as being kind of a nightmare scenario. If the Knicks are the 14th seed, are you going to be super unhappy?
No.
Why not?
Because there's 3 or 4 guys I really want in this coming draft.
Yeah, but you're still like, when's the lottery? Is the lottery all? I may ask a really dumb question, but are all 14 teams in the lottery?
Well, what?
In the lottery, if you don't make the playoffs, is every team in the lottery, or is it? For some reason, I thought it cut off in the top 10, or is all 14 teams are in it?
14 teams are in it. But, I mean, the last couple have almost no shot.
No shot. Yeah, you pretty much have no shot. So let's just say you have no shot of getting let's say you pretty much, like, at number 14, it's basically no different than making the 8th seed as far as picking, really.
That is true.
Like, the 14th seed versus, like, the 16th seed, the draft picks aren't going to be that different.
True.
Are you going to be upset, though, then? Like, is there a lot of value we get out of going to the playoffs and getting swept by, say, Cleveland or the Celtics?
Not really. I don't think. I mean, it's fun to see the team play in May or even like mid-April. But
it's fun to. The last couple of years, the season has ended for me on January 1st or by January 1st. This is the first year in a while the season will continue post January 1st. That makes me happy.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see how long that lasts, considering we have about 60 away games. All against playoff teams. I might be exaggerating a little bit, but
60,000.
Yeah.
We have a tough January schedule. The January schedule is brutal. Going forward, here's the January schedule. We got tomorrow night. They're going to play against at San Antonio. Probably a lot.
No, home.
Oh, it's more. Oh, yeah, yeah. No, no. Oh, that is home. Never mind. They're gonna play home against San Antonio. Either way, probably a loss, right?
There's a good chance.
There's a good chance. And they played pretty well against San Antonio. The first three quarters where they were pretty solid against San Antonio when they played them recently, and that was in San Antonio. But San Antonio was a really good team, and they tend not to screw up games against the Knicks. But let's go on. Then they have at Washington, at Miami, at Dallas, at Chicago, at Minnesota, New Orleans at home, at Brooklyn, at Memphis, at Utah, at LA, at Golden State, at Denver, at Phoenix, and at Brooklyn and at Boston for the rest of the month.
The Chicago and Boston games are home. You said at
Okay.
for everybody.
Oh, whatever. Screw you. I think it's a pretty rough schedule. I mean, you have a couple games that look like they should definitely win. Like Brooklyn at home, they should win.
Phoenix.
Probably should. Phoenix, be able to go into LA and beat LA. Maybe beat Brooklyn twice. Finally beat Chicago. How do you keep losing to Chicago? The Chicago is god awful, and the only team they can beat are the Knicks.
Chicago's been really good since Meritek came back.
That's true, but I still think they're god awful, and the Knicks keep. They haven't been that good actually. If you look at since Meritek's come back, most of their wins have been against the Knicks.
They won 7 in a row.
2 of those games against the Knicks.
True.
There's some like high percentage, like 30% were against the Knicks, or 25%. What was I going to say? Either way, we have a rough stretch ahead against us. I think at the end of the year, if we go 41 and 41, I think we'd all be pretty happy, right? If we win 40 games, even win 40 and 42, we'd be pretty happy, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
If we just miss the playoffs, I don't think that's a big deal. So here's my point. My bigger point here is that I think the Knicks should look at what the team is going to look like next year and have that influence what the team is this year. Meaning, I've gone back and forth on Kyle. For instance, Kyle O'Quinn, I've gone back and forth on him. I think Kyle Quinn should be traded at the deadline.
Why is that?
I think that basically we could give his role to Joakim Noah.
So you're advocating more minutes for Noah.
No, I'm advocating the fact that, in my mind, we're not going to give Kyle O'Quinn a big contract this offseason. How much are you going to give? How much are you going to have Kyle O'Quinn, Doug McDermott, Michael Beasley, a bunch of other players, and we're still going to want to add guys that are better than these players. We don't have a lot of salary cap to deal with. You're not going to want to give $10 million a year or even $9 million, even $8 million a year to Kyle O'Quinn, right?
Probably not.
So
as much as I like him, and it hurts to say it because he's one of my favorite guys on the team.
Yeah,
But
I like Kyle O'Quinn, but a hard question is he going to be on the team next year?
I think we'll probably do the Jeremy Lin special where we tell him to go out and try and get other offers.
But it's not even that, though. Jeremy Lin's special because we had a right to match. There's no right to match. He's just a free agent. He's been here his contract is over, right?
Right, but I mean, we could still make him an offer.
Right, and you can still come back here, but if he's going to get, what kind of money can we match for him? Maybe $6 million a year?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I think he's going to get more than that on the open market. And if you even get a high second-round pick or a late first-round pick for him, it's probably worth moving on. Because really, I like what Kyle O'Quinn brings. At the same time, Noah is not that. I mean, he's bad, but as your backup center, he may not bring that different. He might be able to bring enough that would make it worthwhile having him as your backup center. Plus, it could mean more small ball with KP at center.
I can't believe you're talking yourself into Noah.
I think Noah at 20 minutes a night. I'm not going to say it's the worst.
20 minutes a night. All right, you've truly lost your mind, sir.
15 to 20 minutes a night. I have to say, is Kyle O'Quinn that much better than him?
Probably.
Kyle O'Quinn at sometimes looks really good and other times looks really bad. He has nights where I love him and nights where I hate him. And there's too many of these off nights that I want to commit to him long term. And if I'm not going to commit to him, you have to figure out, well, what's a lower cost option? Or basically, we screwed up. We have Noah at $72 million. He's here in the next 2 years. There's not much you're going to do to be able to trade him. So you're better off just sticking with him and trying to make him a backup center and instead of putting more money into the center position.
So you're basically saying just own the mistake and play him.
Yes, own the mistake. He's here anyway. You might as well play him and see what we can get out of him. And it's just you're going to put way too much money into the center position. When you have your two best centers should be Cantor and KP.
Right.
So, and you could probably get a low-cost option at the center position as a backup or as a third backup. So, my next point, and so you think the Kyle O'Quinn, like, does this make any sense to you? Would you be willing to trade him?
What are you going to get for him though? He's an
Yeah,
expiring, and he's only got a $4 million contract. So,
You might be able to get, let's say you get a late first rounder or early second rounder.
I mean, if we get a late first rounder, you definitely do it. I don't think you get that, but yeah.
Maybe you package him. Like, we should explore the market on it. I'm not saying we give him away, but you should heavily explore the market on him.
Okay, fair enough.
Fair enough. So another guy that I think we may have to say, there's another guy I think that should be on the table for his moving, and this one people are going to get really mad at me for. Hernan Gomez. Only if you get a decent return for him, I feel like it'd be worth moving on from Hernan Gomez.
I think the only reason to keep him is because he's friends with KP. He
I
doesn't
know,
seem
but
to be very good.
no, here's the issue with Hernan Gomez in my mind. What is Hernan Gomez's ceiling? I think his ceiling, and you could tell me differently. I think his ceiling is Enes Kanter. Enes Kanter is 25. Hernan Gomez is 23. I don't see Hernan Gomez in the next 2 years being like somehow by the time he's 25 being better than Enes Kanter.
That's fair.
And so I think if you're going to admit that, I think, well, I mean, there are a lot of variables here. And obviously, if Kanter walked in the offseason, we'd be screwed. But in the open market, do you see Kanter? I don't see Kanter getting a huge deal in the open market where he's going to turn down this player option. And you may want to even at some point lock Kanter up for a couple more years.
Right.
I guess would you rather if you had to keep one of them, would you rather?
Oh, I'd definitely rather Kanter, yeah.
Yeah, Kanter. Even if you have to pay him a little more money, at least you know Kanter, he can perform at all-star level on offense. On defense, obviously he needs progress, but Hernan Gomez is a disaster on defense right now. He's not at the very best. Him and Kanter are probably even on defense, and Kanter's probably a little bit better on defense, which is hard to say.
Yeah, I think Kanter's a little better on defense, and he's clearly a better rebounder, like way better rebounder.
By the way, just to go on, I think Kyle O'Quinn actually has he has a player option for next year, but his player option is a $4 million option. There's no way he's taking the $4 million option, or else Kyle O'Quinn does not understand how like the NBA works. Like he has to get more money than even $6 million would make more sense. Like he's gonna get more than $4 million a year from another team.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think if you could package Hernan Gomez and Kyle O'Quinn or something, just one of those two guys, I'd be very willing to trade if I can get a first round pick maybe, or something, or maybe a guy that's in the same position on a team that's too deep at the wing position or too deep at like a guard position, something else to make us better.
Right. I agree with that. I can't argue with that.
Do you think people get mad? I think people are going a little too crazy about the fact, and he's a cheap contract right now, but I don't know how much he adds to the team. I think people are going a little too crazy about him being he was first rookie team, right? All first rookie?
Yeah.
First team rookie, whatever.
Yeah, people are bringing that up, but
it was a terrible class of rookies last year.
Yeah.
I don't think like his numbers, he wasn't that outstanding as much as like the things that Hernan Gomez are good at. He can score. He's pretty decent on offense. He can you get the ball to him, he can score and he can rebound, just not the level that Kanter can do. But people kind of exaggerated how good he was last year, and it's just I think it was more of a weak class than anything else. In a normal year, he's not a first or second or even third team rookie.
Agreed. So
I think you have to look at the roster and say like, these guys aren't necessarily our future. What can we do to make this roster better for next year? Also, so other guys for next year. Doug McDermott. What do you do about him? We kind of talked about this last year. What do you want to see from Doug McDermott going forward?
Oh, I mean, obviously a little bit more improvement on defense. He's a good shooter.
Okay, Doug McDermott kills me because I think he's got the talent to really contribute, and I don't know if it's that Doug McDermott just like disappears in long stretches and just gets like too nervous on the court and just shoots terrible like shots, even though he can shoot. I feel like there's like when you need him, he does not perform.
He should be Kyle Korver.
He's had an okay. I mean, he shot 40% from three. It looks good when you look at the stats. It's 47% from the field. But there's a lot of times like he has some games where he's hitting everything, but a lot of games where he's doing jack. He's doing jack for us basically.
Yeah.
I want to see more from Doug McDermott. I think it's on McDermott, but it's also on Hornacek to find out to really make a role for this guy. Like when he's on the court, I don't think the Knicks set enough screens. Is this crazy to say? I mean, I'm not crazy, but like I watch them. I think one of the things they don't do on offense is set that many screens.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I think you watch a team like, I mean, to the nth degree, like Golden State, every player is saying a pick at all times. Everyone's trying to get everyone else's way to like get guys open, and they really do a lot to get guys open. The Knicks are like, well, if he's open, he's open. They don't do a lot to like set their guys up, and like a ball handler. Not just saying a pick to like do a pick and roll, but like set a pick on someone else's guy to get that guy open, or maybe do a double screen to get a guy open. Just do anything to get guys open from either from 3-point line or get open going to the basket. They need to do more working off the ball. There's got to be a lot more movement. There's too much of the Knicks standing around doing jack, and I feel like a guy like Doug McDermott, if the Knicks made a real effort, they could pick his man a little more often and get him open from three and try to get to the Kyle Korver thing with him a little more.
Yeah, I feel like they struggle to score for like stretches at sometimes, and with their roster, they shouldn't. There should be more open shots.
Doug McDermott should be working. He should be able to want to become like a really good sixth man. Mm-hmm. He's been in the league for a bunch of years. At some point, he goes from a guy that has potential to be a really good sixth man to a guy that's going to be barely on rosters for the rest of his career. And I really think this is a year where like he's got to like take the rest of the season to really like this is a team where he's going to get a lot of minutes and a chance to really make a difference. And it's on Hornacek, but it's also on Doug McDermott. Like he should be only shooting threes or driving to the basket or getting obviously the passes from Kyle O'Quinn under the basket where he always scores. I mean, they have some kind of weird chemistry thing where I think they go to like they must go to like romantic movies together. Like there has
the
to be
Knicks
something.
always have like an odd couple that get along really well.
It was like J.R. Smith and like Steve Novak.
Yeah.
Yeah, like J.R. Smith always fighting Novak, and Novak's like, I don't know, we just have this chemistry.
Yeah, I mean McDermott's playing 24 minutes a game. I don't know if he's going to be in a situation where he's playing that much.
But 24 minutes a day, he should be contributing.
That's
he should
a
be
lot.
contributing.
That's
He should be
that's a
contributing
lot.
more. Yeah, I feel like you. I mean, do you feel like he disappears a lot of times when he's on the floor?
Yeah, I watched. I forget which game. It was like 2 games ago. I forgot he was even playing, and I looked up, and he had 15 minutes.
I mean, his defense has gotten a little bit better, but he's really on the floor for his offense.
Yeah.
And when he's not shooting and like scoring, why are you out there?
Yeah.
I mean, you might as well put Lance Thomas out there instead of him. Like there was one game where McDermott started instead of Lance Thomas, and McDermott didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Lance Thomas, by the way, I almost hate him as a person, and I love his defense, but him and Ron Baker are like they're disabled when it comes to offense.
Yeah.
I think they have a disability. I don't understand how bad they can be this bad on offense, the two of them.
With Hardaway out, Hornacek seems like he literally doesn't know who to put in that starting spot. He keeps changing it, and it's not working out.
Well, the thing is, I think, and I really wonder if Hornacek is the coach, like for the long. This is a question for you. Like, the Knicks are finally looking like a not an embarrassment for the first time in a couple of years. They have some stability. You like the hustle, but is Hornacek the coach to really lead this team going forward?
I don't think he's doing a bad job.
I don't think he's doing a bad job either. But like, could the team be a lot better with a better coach?
I don't know. I mean, anytime a team overachieves, I start looking at the coach.
Yeah. Like on the other hand, like I feel like he needs to do more to set his players up for success. Like he needs to like. So one of the things I know he's been saying, they said he was saying that like Ntilikina and Jack need to be a lot more aggressive with the ball, like start moving the ball. And to a certain extent, you can only tell your players so much this, and if they're not listening, they're not listening.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been a certain like Ntilikina is like slowly but surely getting more aggressive on offense. And maybe it's not going to come. It's not going to be like you're going to say to the guy, get more aggressive, and suddenly he's going to become like Michael Jordan out there. But I feel like there's certain like maybe it's just like the role players. He's not doing enough to set up. Like I feel like Lance Thomas should be. You should say Lance Thomas on offense. All you do is shoot threes, nothing else. And at the same time, like tell the other players, hey, Lance Thomas can shoot threes. Give him the ball. That's where he's useful. He's not useful any other way.
I mean, I wouldn't tell a guy just to stand at the 3-point line.
I just feel like Lance Thomas is only useful. Like I don't want to see Lance Thomas driving to the basket anymore. I just feel like he can't do anything else on offense besides shoot a three. But that's not a bad thing. If he can shoot threes, it's not bad. Like I want to see more threes from Lance Thomas. That's what he's good at.
Yeah. I would never tell a player to just be one-dimensional, though.
But they are anyway, so what's the difference? I don't know. Just find a way. I wouldn't tell him like that, but I would try to talk to him about like, hey, is there a way we can like exploit your strengths?
Right.
Like, hey, Lance Thomas, he's going to be in the corner when hey, point guards, when you're driving, remember Lance Thomas is there. He can knock it down.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
He's been a solid thing, but like I just think him, like McDermott, even Ron Baker has shown some life in the 3-point game. I want to see more 3-pointers from this team really, really badly.
Why? Just because it's proven to work?
There was a comment I saw. This was a great comment, I thought. Let me find this comment. It was someone was commenting on the Knicks small ball lineup. It was I forget which of the games they were using it. I think it was the San Antonio game. They were using a small ball lineup at one point, and someone commented. I think it was on posting and toasting in the comment section. Let me find this great quote. Oh yeah, where was it? Do I not find this on there? God damn it! I thought I had it. I thought he sent it to me. Oh, God damn it. I thought I sent this comment to myself, and now I can't. Oh, wait.
You want me to go to an email while you look?
No. Basically, the comment was, what was the point of the small ball lineup if you're not pushing the ball and you're not shooting threes?
That's a great point, yeah.
Yeah, if you're not running, like, if you're going to go slow and steady, then you shouldn't even have a small ball lineup. The whole point of the small ball lineup is to be more athletic, faster, and shooting lots of threes the other team can't do.
Yeah.
Right now, the Knicks are dead last in the league in 3-pointers attempted.
That's weird.
Why is it weird? Because Knicks don't. Here's my issue with Hornacek. My biggest issue is he doesn't seem to give a crap about the 3-point line. Like defending it, I can't say him. Just the Knicks as a whole, I guess. The Knicks don't seem to try to defend it, and they don't try to shoot the threes.
The defending it is what gets me really pissed off.
The Knicks, I think they said the Knicks. They give up more open threes than any team in the league, but teams are shooting it's somewhere in the middle of the pack against them as far as 3-point percentage. So, just like reverting to the mean, the Knicks start losing a bunch of games just because they're leaving guys open. The guys start hitting the shots they're supposed to be hitting. I
mean, teams are probably just surprised that they're so open at the 3-point line.
The Knicks don't defend the three, and the Knicks, I swear to God, if I had Ethereum or any cryptocurrency, for every time the Knicks, well, Bitcoins and all those are worth a lot of money, obviously. Let's say a nickel of Bitcoin, for every time a Knicks player got the ball at the 3-point line, took 2 steps in and shot a long 2 instead, I would be a rich man. I mean, it's so often the Knicks pass up open threes, it kills me. Yeah, they have some aversion to the open three, to the long, but like they're in love with the long 2.
On the plus side, though, I got to say, Frank has been looking a lot more aggressive.
Oh, you don't want to be all negative for the whole episode? Yes. Ntilikina has been looking pretty good.
I mean,
yeah. So my question, I guess, going with for the next year, and I've been saying for a while that Ntilikina should come along slowly, earn his minutes from Jack. I think I'm getting near the point where now I want to just switch it and just say, why not just have Ntilikina start?
It could get ugly.
Well, yeah. So in one respect, you're putting a lot of weight on Ntilikina's shoulders by having him start. On the other hand, he does get he's a better passer than Jack. And you're probably better off having the better passer with the first unit, and having a guy like Jack who can also create some of his own offense a little better than Ntilikina can with the second unit.
I mean,
So when the second unit's not scoring, Jack could take over some of the scoring load.
they're almost splitting minutes evenly now. I mean, Ntilikina is averaging 21 and a half minutes.
No, it's fair, but I feel like I would like to see more. I'd like to see more Ntilikina with KP basically.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like what's killing me with KP is, do you think KP at all was harmed by playing so much time with Carmelo?
Maybe a little bit, yeah.
Because I find there's so much of KP saying, I'm running down the court and just trying to post up. And maybe it's not Melo's. It's probably not Melo's fault, but Melo, it reminds me a little bit of Melo. Melo kept doing this his whole time here. Melo would be like, okay, this possession is going to be me fighting for position. Get the ball to me, and I'll play on my own. And it's too much of KP trying to do that also. It's not all the time, but do you really want to see KP shoot fadeaway jump shots?
No, I definitely don't.
He does a lot of fadeaway jump shots, and I know the guy's shorter than him, and he can get a shot over the guy, but it's not an easy shot, a fadeaway jump shot.
Also, you don't want a player getting complacent doing one thing. Like, I noticed during the Pelicans game, Cousins spent a lot of time at the 3-point line, and you don't want a guy just taking the easy way out all the time.
What are you, Clyde?
Well,
easy way out thing.
Cousins is a brute. Cousins should be beating the crap out of guys in the paint.
Yeah, no, it's true. Well, that's the thing. People, I guess they go back and forth on that. If you could hit threes, I don't mind you being out there. There's a balancing act, I guess.
Yeah, I just feel like with a talent like Cousins, you don't want him just hanging around the 3-point line and being a Jamal Crawford.
Right. Well, it's tough for that team also because you also want to give Anthony Davis his time inside also.
Yeah, but I felt like they were staggering those two on the court. Anyway, let's not talk too much about the Pelicans. But
okay. But I would think Ntilikina. You don't see the argument. I feel like he might do a better job. So what I'd like to see with KP is them set him up better. There was one of the games there was a play where Ntilikina just when KP was running down the court with Ntilikina. Ntilikina was ahead of him. KP's behind him. Ntilikina just turns, gives the ball to KP as he's running, and KP just dunks it. And I just feel like KP with Ntilikina, maybe Ntilikina would just do a better job of getting KP the ball in better positions. Do a little bit less of the posting up,
mm-hmm.
And also if he has a guy who can pass like Ntilikina, maybe Ntilikina gets in the ball in better positions, closer to the basket, and KP goes back to scoring 30 points a game again.
Right. Still worried about KP's elbow.
I don't think it's KP's elbow. You really think it's KP's elbow?
I don't know. He's not shooting well.
I think it's really just him taking. He's not an amazing shooter. As much as we like, he's a good shooter, but he's not going to be shooting. He's not going to be nailing fadeaway jumpers at a rate of 50%.
It's a good point.
He's taking too many bad hard shots. The thing of Melo was always a really good bad shot shooter. And KP's doing a lot of that also, and it's not really Melo's fault he's doing that. But I feel like there may be some mindset of KP being I got to run down the court between him and Phil screwing with his head, that he'd run down the court, I need to post up, get me the ball, I'll dribble a couple times and figure something out. I want when KP gets the ball to make a decision right away. If he's going to dribble, just I want to make the quick decisions, not try to move around a lot, dribble around a lot, because the ball gets stolen. And I also just don't want him back to the basket doing fadeaway jumpers. I just don't know that necessarily he's going to be his best game.
Yeah.
You do that once or twice a game, that's great. If you're doing that 10 times a game, you're just going to kill the offense. Get the ball, do more pick and roll, get him more in pick and roll. The way they give Beasley the ball in pick and roll action. Why can't they give the ball to KP in pick and roll action?
That is a $1 million question.
And I know they do some of it, but I want more. Like have other guys setting more, do more picks, do anything to get him more open with the ball, or just get him the ball when he's facing the basket where he can take some dribbles and drive to the basket. KP can drive to the basket. He could do so much. I think KP should be playing better than he is right now.
All right, let's take a really quick break.
Okay.
It's probably going to happen, yeah. It comes in 3, so I guess so.
Yeah, so I'm excited. Hopefully lightning doesn't hit the rest of my family. I have life insurance. Everything will be fine.
That's good.
So anyway, Luke is on. Luke, tell us. I'm going to start the 10 minutes clock in a second, but tell us a little bit about yourself, when you became a Knicks fan, and where you're calling from.
So I'm calling from the UK, specifically Coventry, which is a medium-sized city in England, but probably a very small city compared to the States. I'm a student in my last year at university, and that's about it. Planning big things, that's all.
Okay, and why do you hate yourself enough to be a Knicks fan?
It's actually not my fault. It's genuinely not my fault. In high school, one of my best friends was into basketball. He was into the Clippers and Blake Griffin, and that was 2011, I want to say.
Okay.
And then just after Jeremy Lin's Linsanity season, I got into it, and I just love watching Carmelo Anthony.
So you got kind of tricked, I guess, in some ways.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to start the clock then. Let me ask you. You love Carmelo on the low post, and a lot of it was he'd run down the court, he'd try to get position and say, "Get me the ball." They'd feed the ball to him, and then he'd go to work, right?
Yeah.
Do you think KP does that a lot? Seems to do some of that also. Do you think KP? Do you like when KP does that?
No. Why do we like that? That's the most ridiculous thing. Like, I don't understand why we would play KP like that when we've just got rid of the whole reason that our team was struggling. In Carmelo, like, why would we go back to the thing that made us bad?
But isn't that our way to go back to what made us bad? Have you noticed though that KP does a lot of that? He does a lot of like posting up, and I go usually against smaller guys, but it seems like it ends up usually with KP taking a longer than we'd like fadeaway jumper. And do we want?
He came into the NBA and had 2 years with Carmelo being his mentor. What else do we expect?
Yeah, well, it would be nice if he could come in and had a mentor that played like aggressive defense or like didn't do the posting up all the time. What do you think of the team so far? How do you feel about the season?
I like the team. I really like the team. I think we're going to have some hard decisions this summer in who to keep, particularly on the wings, because I think Dougie and Beasley have both proven that they're really useful to the team. And who else plays on that wing? I've forgotten. My mind's gone blank.
Well, I guess Timmy and Courtney Lee do a little bit.
Oh, Courtney Lee, yeah. Like, Courtney Lee, I've heard people saying we need to trade Courtney Lee. We definitely can't trade Courtney Lee.
I think it seems insane to move on from Courtney Lee. I think he's like one of the best, like, he's a real veteran presence that he plays offense, plays defense, kind of does everything we need him to do and more.
Yeah, he's the kind of guy you want Frank and KP and other young guys to learn off. Like, he's a professional basketball player. We need people like that in the team for our young guys to learn off.
Well, so let me ask you some questions about some hard choices they'll make in the offseason.
Okay.
So Kyle O'Quinn is going to be a free agent. We already have a lot of money committed to the center. Between Cantor and Noah, we have like half our salary cap committed to, or maybe 40% of our salary cap committed at center.
Yeah.
Is Kyle O'Quinn? He's going to be on the team next year.
No way.
I
really like Kyle O'Quinn. I think he's kind of a really stereotypically Knicksy player. Like,
yeah.
He would fit in the 90s. If you look back at them teams, if you put Kyle O'Quinn in a uniform, you wouldn't notice the difference. But he's just going to be too expensive this year, and I don't think we have the room to pay him when we need other positions filled.
I would make the argument if say Joakim Noah happened to walk off a cliff tomorrow, then let's keep Kylo Quinn. But assuming Joakim Noah doesn't get lost in the Amazon this summer, we're stuck with Noah. Kylo Quinn, there's no place on him because we have Noah.
We can't. Noah's contract ties us up to do anything creative this off-season unless Scott Perry and Steve Mills have a secret master plan up the sleeves, but I can't imagine that is true for the Knicks organization.
There's no the master plan was the triangle, and that's where we are now.
Yeah.
So
Noah played well though the other day. Noah came on in the fourth quarter against New Orleans and put in a shift.
I would say we should try to spend the rest from now to the trade deadline trying to move Kylo Quinn. And if we can't move, if we can move him, just have Noah kind of take over as the backup center.
Yeah, I think if we move O'Quinn, we need to move O'Quinn. If you look in the East, all of the teams Philly and Boston and Washington, they're the people we're going to be facing in, 3-4 years when we're actually competitive, and all of them have draft picks in young players that are going to just get better. So if we don't start doing the same thing, we're going to be lost in no man's land, and we'll look like the Clippers in 5 years.
Hernan Gomez, he's a young player. His ceiling seems to be Enes Kanter. Is Hernan Gomez expendable?
I think his ceiling's higher than that.
Really? Okay.
Can you remember when Melo, when he first played, he first had a breakout game?
He called him Marc Gasol. Yeah, but that's Melo. I
think Melo's savvy. He wouldn't. I don't think Melo pours praise on any old person. I think he would have legitimately thought that a little bit for him to say in the media.
Who would you rather have for the next 3 years, Hernan Gomez or Kanter on the roster?
Oh, Kanter, absolutely.
Okay.
Kanter's got a beef with the Turkish president. He is not scared of anyone. He's
an international criminal. I love Kanter.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
I just think Kanter, they do similar things. Kanter just does them better. Maybe Hernan Gomez does end up being better than Kanter, but they're two-year age difference between the two of them. Kanter can be pretty good on offense. I'd rather say stick with the guy that's already doing it versus the guy that I don't know if he can really be a starter in the NBA.
Yeah, but I would like to actually see him get some more minutes. He did make all rookie NBA first team, I think, last year, or second team.
Michael, we only have you for a short time. Michael Beasley.
Yeah.
Is he a guy that you want back next year?
Only if it's at a good price. I don't want to be paying Tim Hardaway money for Michael Beasley.
I mean, I'll just shoot myself if that happens. But
yeah, that could happen.
If at the right money, I feel like Michael Beasley could be a really good backup to KP. A really good guy to have. KP leaves the floor. You have a guy that you can really run the offense through. If you could kind of corral the Michael Beasley out of Michael Beasley.
Michael Beasley's a more creative J.R. Smith. So if we can get him as a kind of sixth man off the bench to kind of run the offense, that would be magical. But I think he's going to want too much money next year.
Are you saying when you comparing him to J.R. Smith, are you saying that Michael Beasley is going to be given to Cleveland for nothing and then he's going to help them win the title?
To be fair, it's probably knowing LeBron's luck, that might happen.
What do you think about Ron Baker? Do you want to see more Ron Baker or less Ron Baker?
So to explain that question, I watch basketball with my friends who know not a lot about basketball, and every time Ron Baker's on the court, they laugh.
I like his defensive energy, but what he gives on offense seems like, I said to Jay before, it seems like he's disabled.
Yeah, I think we should get rid of... Well, we can't get rid of Ron Baker.
Baker's here. He's here.
Yeah, we need to get rid of Sessions and bring Trey Burke in from the G League.
I would do that in a heartbeat.
Have Ron Baker's minutes.
I would do that in a heartbeat. Let's just see what Burke can do. He's tearing up the GF whatever league.
Plus, him and Hardaway used to be teammates for Michigan State or Michigan Wolverines in college, so that might be a really good partnership that we could utilize, but who knows?
Are you surprised coming into the season, everything you got from the summer, are you surprised that the team is missing Tim Hardaway this much? Are you missing Tim Hardaway?
Yeah, I love Tim Hardaway. I can remember staying up to like 4 o'clock to watch him and Dion Waiters shoot out in the Rising Stars contest a few years ago. Tim Hardaway is, again, quite a Knicksy player. It's just all energy, all passion. Streaky shooter.
Yeah, I think he could have a great role in this team. I feel like this was a really good signing. If he's ever able to walk again, I think he'd be a great. Like, I really want to see Hardaway back. I like his development on this team.
Yeah, the injury does worry me. But I think if he plays the way he did before the injury, $17 million a year isn't that bad.
Yeah, it's actually turned out to be like, it's shocking the Knicks made like some big bloated contract that everyone hated, and it's actually looking like a reasonable contract now.
It's the new dynamic duo in the front office. That's what it is.
Yeah. What do you think of Lance Thomas? Why is he so bad on offense?
I don't know, but I think Lance Thomas is a good guy to keep around. Any teammate or most of his teammates that he's had, particularly KD and Melo, have both absolutely adored him as a teammate. So
he gives a lot of energy on defense. I just wish he was better on offense. I was saying to Jay before, I feel like if you use him better on offense, like he's a solid 3-and-D guy. He's a solid shooter from the three. Get him a couple more 3-point shots, and like he could be a lot more useful on the court.
I think that's the thing with all of our wings, though. They only bring kind of one dimension. If we could kind of make or push them all together to make one player, we would have someone pretty good. But
so if we call if we can call Dr. Frankenstein, and he can combine Doug McDermott and Lance
Michael
Thomas,
Beasley and Lance Thomas, that would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Damian Dotson, should he be getting more minutes?
I think while Hardaway's out, definitely. I don't know why we're not playing we're hardly playing like any of our bench players. Even on this road trip, like it seems weird. We're only going kind of 8-9 deep. We're not using the entirety of our bench, which seems stupid, particularly with like players like Dotson who are young and need minutes. But I guess that's for Jeff to decide.
I mean, would you say maybe the Knicks would be better off, whatever like pains you get from like trying to play Dotson some more minutes, or making sure that Ntilikina finishes every game in the fourth quarter, like even if it means that we get a couple extra losses, isn't it better off we get these guys more minutes now and develop them versus getting that 8th seed?
I don't know. I think more reps possible for KP in the playoffs is really important at this stage. So I don't know if we can sneak in the 8th seed or 7th seed, I think that would benefit our team more than playing Dotson like 2 extra minutes.
Yeah, I mean, when you say it like that, it sounds kind of ridiculous. I just want to, I think making the playoffs as the 8th seed is a little bit overrated. I think getting this team to winning anywhere between 35 and 40 games will be a successful season, and I just want to see guys that develop. Dotson will have more of a role in this team than a lot of other guys might have next year and going forward. So get him more minutes now. I guess get more minutes to guys that could be like Dotson supposedly can play defense and he could shoot. But again, maybe you get more of these guys more minutes. Like him getting, I'd rather see him get more minutes than say Ron Baker get more minutes these days. Even though I like his energy on defense, and he's young also.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think Dotson's got the higher upside compared to Ron Baker. So in that comparison, definitely. But I don't know. I think you just got to ride the players that are going to get you the wins for most of the time.
Okay, so we are at the 10-minute point. Tell me this. Are we making the playoffs?
Yeah. Optimistic,
okay,
yes.
Good enough.
Yeah.
How do you usually watch the games? Because aren't the games usually on when you're asleep?
Yeah, so like I said, I'm a uni student, so I don't really have a regular sleeping pattern. Mine's probably more similar to your guys' time zone. So Yeah, just league pass, streams, and staying up quite late.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us, Luke.
No
this
worries.
was awesome. And,
Yeah, I'm pleased we made it happen.
Yeah. And I'm glad that death. Well, I haven't heard from Jay in a while. He may be dead, but assuming he's not,
I am
Let's
dying.
hope no.
there's Jay. Okay.
What is your Twitter again, Luke?
My Twitter is LJSAmbrose, and quick shout out to yopics.co.uk. That's my project I'm working on. It's a media outlet company, organization, and 100% of any profits go to charity. So check that out if you have the time.
What was that again?
Awesome.
Which site?
What's
yopics.co.uk. So like topics, but spelt with a Y instead of the T.
Perfect.
Okay. Awesome.
Great. Cool. You guys carry on.
Okay, we will.
I look forward to hearing the podcast.
Okay, great.
Thank you so much, Luke.
See ya. No worries. Bye.
Take care. And if you liked Luke's takes, he's written some stuff for our website as well. So you can go to the NewYorkKnicksPodcast.com.
Okay, let's go to questions, Jay.
All right. Email nyknickspodcast@gmail.com from Jeff. First, let me give you guys kudos for an awesome show. I listen to all the Knicks podcasts and I can find, and by far yours is the best. Thank you. I love our team this year. Since Melo's gone, the ball movement, defense, and heart of our team make it much more exciting to watch than the last few to a dozen years. It is obvious, though, that this team is going to be the one to take us to the championship in a few years. We absolutely need a small forward we can rely on. Lance Thomas will probably be traded for next season for a contender for a draft pick. I would like to see us keep McDermott as a bench small forward. I looked at small forwards available through free agency this summer. There's no way we're getting Durant. I don't want LeBron. Paul George is another ball hog like Melo. I don't want Melo back. But there are others available, but they have either injury histories or are too old and are not willing to risk our future on them. Jabari Parker, Rodney Hood, Rudy Gay, Joe Johnson, Trevor Ariza, Wilson Chandler. That leaves two small forwards worth looking at. Kyle Anderson from San Antonio, restricted. And you're going to love this, Robert Covington, averaging 15. I swear I didn't write this email. 15 points per game, 5 rebounds, decent three-point shooter, good on the defensive end. Only makes $1.57 million this year. He'll be unrestricted this summer. Might be a good fit for the Knicks. And Jay, you won't have to feel weird about drafting him on your fantasy team anymore.
Jay, how long was this email though? Because this is an old email. He signed a 4-year, $62 million extension.
Yeah, that's true. It's only 12 days old.
Oh, okay.
He must have sent this right before that extension went through.
Okay. The extension went through in November. I mean, I appreciate the email. So I like Anderson. He looked pretty good against the Knicks. He wouldn't be a bad guy to get.
Yeah.
By the way, I've been a little negative. I just want to point out I've been a little negative early in this episode. I am loving this season. This is the most engaged in the season I've been in the last couple of years of the team because it's been so much more fun to watch because they seem like they're a competitive team. And I can really see this team. I really see this team having this, in a couple of years, I really think this team's going to contend.
Yeah, I think so too. And he said if you're looking to spread the word about your podcast in upstate New York, I'd be glad to hand out some of your pens. See, look at that. It's already spreading. This is going to be a viral sensation.
Jay, tell me more about your guerrilla marketing. So far we have the upstate New York region covered.
Mm-hmm.
What else is going on, Jay? How many pens do you have now? I think you sent a couple to a listener. How many's left of the 100?
Maybe 94. I've been sick.
Alan, I've been sick of these pen jokes.
Hi, guys. I hope the Christmas holiday period was good for you, as I expected you to talk about how Frank is playing, being more aggressive and driving to the basket. Can you talk about Frank perimeter defense being quite amazing? And when will Jay look at the draft and decide who we should get?
Yeah, Jay, what's going on with the draft? I feel like we're picking anywhere from 10 to 18. 10 to 7. Yeah. I mean, I'm depending on how good or bad the year is. What do you got, Jay?
Thank you, Alan. I don't make my draft pick until 4 months before the draft, which gives me until late January, early February.
Okay, perfect. By the way, has Robert Covington been tearing it up lately?
No, he's fell down a little bit.
Oh, really? No way.
Yeah.
Shocking. So let's say 4 for 10, 6 for 11, 1 for 2, 2 for 8, 2 for 5, 6 for 16, 5 for 19, 3 for 5, 4 for 21. Those are his shooting performances. the last like 2 weeks or so. I'm shocked Robert Covington's coming back down the earth. It's
Fortunately,
really
there's
shocking.
more than one stat in fantasy, and he had 2 5-steal games and a 4-steal game in the last 6 games.
I'd like to point out at some point he was shooting like 50% from three. Now he's shooting under 40%, which is still a decent. He's shooting 39%, which is still pretty decent, except for where he's come from.
Yeah,
He's been falling off majorly. Yeah, he's doing some other stats, whatever. I'm gonna stick with the ones that sound worse.
Paul writes, Jay and Mark, you may not know this, but we really need you guys. A lot of us have shitty lives and a lot of stressful problems, and you help us forget that. Please help us. Happy New Year.
Oh, awesome. We should help them by doing shows every week now.
Yes.
Basketball gods, please don't screw up the Knicks, and please let us be able to do shows every week going forward. Don't make Jay sick. Don't destroy his computer. Don't run over my house with a car, and all those things.
And please let us know how the audio is this episode, because I'm not sure.
No one. Why do you think it sounds bad? Just because when you called me earlier, I said, "What the hell's that?"
Right.
I think it sounds fine. I've gotten used to it. It's just different audio than I'm used to, but it's fine.
Okay. Well, somebody other than Mark, please give me feedback on how the audio.
You have your
Thank
feedback, Jay. You're done. You got your feedback.
NY Knicks Podcast on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and Patreon. Thank you, the people who signed up for Patreon. We got a new one over the holidays. That was a nice Christmas present.
Awesome.
And anybody who has signed up for Patreon and wants a pen, email me your address.
And Jay will send you a pen.
Yes.
If you wanna, why don't you send them 2 pens? They can give the pen like it could be like a keepsake. They can give it to they're like he'll get down on bended knee with their girlfriend and they'll take out of their pocket a pen for her.
Well, maybe it'll be like you get 2 pens, you keep one, and you pass the other one forward. Guerrilla marketing.
Pay it forward with a pen.
Guerrilla marketing.
Maybe we can find people that we give them pens and they can go to what's the bank TD Bank where they have all those free pens.
Mm-hmm.
We go there and drop the Knicks pens where they have the TD Bank's pens. So people come to the bank and they'll take our pens instead. So people that bank with Canadian banks will be up for will become listeners to our show.
There you go.
Okay, there you go.
That is it for emails.
Okay. Facebook. Jermaine writes, did last night prove Frank needs to be started? I think this is from the San Antonio game. In the San Antonio game, Frank had 11 assists and 1 turnover, which looked pretty damn awesome. Do you know the last Nick to have that kind of night? Or the last Nick rookie? Last Nick rookie to have that night, I think, was Greg Anthony.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah, and actually, I don't know if it was last rookie or just last Nick player to have that many assists with that many. I don't know if it was. I don't know a lot about things I'm talking about.
I like that.
But that looked pretty good. Jay, you're still not convinced?
What, that he should be starting?
Yeah, I know, and I changed my mind on this one because I was saying for a while let's take him along slowly, but I like just the idea of reversing. I don't need the minutes to go up very much, but I like the idea of him playing with the first team more.
I think Hornacek's doing a good job of mixing it up.
But don't you think that as far as just winning, we'd be better off having Frank with the first team because he'd be better setting guys up. We need a little more offense with the second team, and it's Jack could when the offense is stagnating with the second team, Jack might be a little bit better with the second team.
It's worth a try.
Yeah. Nick writes, do the Knicks need Timmy to come back to be consistent?
We need Timmy to come back and be consistent.
Yes. It would be a huge... You're losing your... Timmy really is the second best player in this team, and it's a lot to lose.
Yeah.
Julian writes, Frank seems way more confident when Jarrett plays alongside him on the court last night at the Spurs game. I think this could be an idea perhaps for the next few games. Few minutes together to increase Frank's movement on the court and bring more confidence attacking the basket while Timmy is injured, and then make him start when Timmy is back. What's your thoughts? So do you like having those 2 guys together?
It's not bad. I mean, it's not going to work when Timmy's back, but yeah, for right now, sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think it probably also having Jack on the court with him maybe encourages Frank to look for his own offense a little bit more.
What I don't get is when Beasley goes nuts on offense, and the next game he hardly plays.
Yeah, like in the Celtics game. But I really wish we just did a podcast after the Celtics game because that was amazing how good he looked in that game.
Yeah.
It looked like he was unstoppable, and then he barely played the next game. Like as much as you said, like you like what Hornacek's doing, riddle me that. Why did Beasley barely play the next game?
I couldn't tell you. This is very strange.
And why not when Beasley's on the floor? Why don't we just keep feeding the ball to Beasley until it proves like it doesn't work, until it proves to not work?
Right, until somebody shows they can cover him. Let him score.
Yeah. I mean, and he seems like Beasley can kick the ball out. Like he understands that if he's double covered, he can he's shown to be a willing passer also. Just run the whole offense through Beasley when he's on the court. Like why would you not do that?
Yeah.
Do you like seeing Beasley and KP on the floor together?
I haven't seen two. It seems like one of them freezes the other one out.
I don't love having them together on the court.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be great.
I also think Beasley, I love KP. KP's defense at the rim is great, but his defense outside the rim is not that great. And Beasley's defense is pretty mediocre. I don't know. I don't love the combination on the court together.
Yeah.
By the way, I saw it was a statistic they had opponent field goal percentage with within 5 feet or 10 feet of the basket, and I think KP was second in the league.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I forget who was first, but KP's really good at defense when he's right by the basket. It's just when he has to cover a guy outside, he doesn't like leaving that area.
Right.
Paul writes, would you want Lou Williams, and would you be willing to give up Willie Lee and Kylo Quinn to get him? Lou's passing has improved, and I'd just love to see Frank with another dynamic guard, whoever it may be.
I'd rather not lose Courtney Lee for Lou.
But I would lose Courtney. I would trade Willie and Kylo Quinn.
All right. Next question.
Yeah. Liam writes, Ripple just hit $2.60. Did Jay become a millionaire already? 6 months ago, it was at 20 cents. Mind blown, not even counting the ether and the ones invested in. If people are, we haven't done Brick of Sanity very recently, and we need to do one very soon. Jay has gotten really into investing in cryptocurrencies, and apparently he is destroying it into cryptocurrencies. Jay, when are we all going to go on your yacht?
I think we're still a year or two away from that, but I'm doing pretty good so far.
Okay. Rich writes, can we talk about Porzingis passing or lack thereof? Knicks fans crucified Melo, but this guy gets a pass. The dude never passes. He should definitely be averaging more assists.
Yeah, I think we talked a little bit about that last episode. He definitely needs to work on that.
Yeah, I want to see less posting up, and this is something I feel like Hornacek can somehow gently say to work the offense to say you don't want to insult Porzingis, but you're like, hey Porzingis, I think you're better used if we do more pick and roll action. We get you the ball. If you're going to be posting up, we need you to be closer to the basket.
Mm-hmm.
You're within 10 feet of the basket, fine. If you're 15 feet from the basket, you should never be posting up. Any further out, you should not be posting up.
Right.
Let's find another way to get you the ball. And you got to pass more out. He's got to be passing more out. John writes, I guess part of the problem with our wings is everyone doesn't do that much more different than Lance Thomas plays defense, can shoot some threes. Doug McDermott can shoot some more threes than Lance, but he doesn't play as good a defense as Lance. Guys don't separate themselves that much from each other because we don't have any really complete wings.
Yeah.
It's frustrating. I have a question for you. Joakim Noah, I know I talked about the fact that making Noah our backup center, unfortunately. Would you trade if it meant giving up a future first round pick, would you trade Noah to get out of his contract? Would you throw in a first round pick if you can get out of Noah's contract or something?
No.
Would you stretch him?
No.
Why not?
You really want to pay him for the next 7 years?
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I feel like you're not going to get. It's going to be really giving up a future asset is just stupid. That's what the Knicks have used to do for so much. Let's keep all our picks and try to really develop them. And and not trade just get money out of it. If we trade a first round pick to move Noah, we would use that money in an awful scenario.
Yeah.
Paul writes, "What is O'Quinn's ceiling, and how many minutes does he need to get there?"
That's a good question.
I mean, do you think? I know I said I was talking about moving on from O'Quinn. Do you think O'Quinn, like on the reverse, could O'Quinn be our starting center, and move on from Cantor?
I don't think he's good enough to start. I think he could be a solid bench guy, 6th, 7th man.
Kind of what he is now. He's a solid backup center.
Right, but he shows flashes of being good. I think he needs consistent minutes, something around 20 minutes a game to get there.
But hasn't he been getting that?
Some games he plays 5, some games he plays 20. It's very inconsistent.
I feel like his minutes have been pretty consistent. He's averaging 16 minutes a game this year. So it's not 20 minutes a game. But I feel like he gets on the court. I don't know. I feel like he's been getting more times than not. He's been getting consistent minutes. Like every game he comes in after Cantor leaves. I feel like sometimes he looks really good. Sometimes he does not look really good. You think he's going to get to the point where he's going to be consistent?
I mean, he hasn't played over 20 minutes in a while.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point. I don't know. What do you think? Like, if he did get let's say you gave him 30 minutes a night, what do you think you'd get from him?
I don't know, like 12 and 8.
Yeah, I feel like he's not strong enough of a scorer in the post.
Mm-hmm.
When they get in the ball in like pick and roll situation, when you get the ball into the bat, like he can be very good about putting the ball back up. But I think a lot of times when you get in the ball pick and roll, he has trouble getting the ball into the basket.
He could be close to a league leader in blocks, though.
Yeah, he could be. He is very good at that. Let's see. He last time he played over 20 minutes was against the Celtics, and he had what do you have? He had a decent game. He hasn't had a really great game in a while.
Yeah.
The last time he had, I guess when they played Houston a while back, he had 20 points and like 15 rebounds, and that was an awesome game. I don't see that. I think O'Quinn still makes some dumb passes. He makes some really good passes also. But I know we talked about this in the past. When the Knicks dribble the ball up the court and they pass the ball to like their center, whether it be O'Quinn or Cantor at the top of the key, and then have them pass the ball. Why do they do that? It still doesn't make any sense to me. People have said like it shifts the offense or does this. Like giving the ball to Kyle O'Quinn behind the arc, the only thing Kyle O'Quinn can do is pass there, which makes the defense prepare for the pass, and the Knicks turn the ball over a number of times in that situation. Same with giving the ball to Cantor in that situation. It's mind-numbing why you would do that.
Yeah, I think that strategy works better when you have a center that can hit an outside shot.
Yeah, I mean, I understand if you give it to KP, then the defense has to KP can either drive to the basket, shoot a 3, or move the ball. I can understand that, but a guy like O'Quinn or Cantor, what's or Noah out there also? What's the goddamn point?
Oh God, Noah's so bad. Teams don't even try and cover him.
But it seems like why start your offense? You're better off going into the pick and roll to start the offense, or just doing anything else besides passing to your center behind the arc.
I don't have a good answer for that.
But the Knicks have been doing this for years, and I don't remember if they were doing it before Phil got here. But I remember when Phil got here, they were doing it a lot, and these big being what the hell they were doing, why they were doing this, and they've continued doing this, and I just don't understand because they dribble the ball up slowly to the court, they don't rush the ball up, they take their time, get into their set, and pass the ball to their center at the top of the key. Then he has to get the ball to someone else, and the Knicks. There's so many times the Knicks have turned the ball over by the center trying to pass the ball, and the other team's waiting for that pass.
Yeah,
I would say if you analyze this play, it probably is the league leader in most turnovers per play in the NBA.
Somebody get on that.
Knicks, yeah, someone can just somehow analyze when the Knicks center gets the ball and he has to pass it again. Like that has to be the most turnover play, and I never see that happen where they get the ball to the center. I'm at the top of the key, and the defense is like, "What do we do? Why is he standing out there?" And the Knicks get an easy score out of that. I don't know. Okay, going back to but that's a good question on O'Quinn. I still like the idea of just moving on from him and trying to give Noah his minutes because I don't think we're bringing back O'Quinn. But I guess at the end, like I don't think O'Quinn's going to be better than Cantor, and so I'd rather go with Cantor as our center. Even though I think Cantor, I think is O'Quinn a better defender than Cantor?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think he's better, but I think why can't the Knicks just have have players that are just like why can't we just take all the players and like do the Frankenstein thing? Because O'Quinn combined with Cantor would be fucking awesome.
The Knicks are all about one-dimensional players.
Paul writes, are the scratches on KP's arm actually scars from a secret surgery?
Secret elbow surgery?
Well, InfoWars agrees with that one. Yeah, remember what was it? Amari's secret surgery he had like in the summer?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. All right, Paul. Hopefully you're not onto something. Paul writes, "What's the most points Bees will score in a game this season?" What did he get the other night against the Celtics? He got like 35.
Yeah.
32 against Celtics. Yeah, I think he maybe 38. He's gonna have another Beasley game.
There'll be another game where KP and Hardaway are out, and he'll be the only guy scoring.
Yeah,
It's
amazing how he can be so good on offense and just can't establish he can't even start in the NBA. He's been on like 15 different teams.
I know it is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say 38 to 40.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's it for questions.
Okay.
What did we learn today, Jay?
We
We're
learned,
over a minute, so we've got to run too long. Blah blah blah.
we learned that we are capable of doing a show without a catastrophe. That's
Yes.
one in a row.
Are we gonna be back next week, Jay?
Yeah, we'll be back next week.
Yeah, we learned that the Knicks haven't been their record since we were gone was been pretty bad. Before we leave, let's make a January prediction. We have how many games do they have left? They have I can't give you a January prediction. That's gonna be that'd be awful. Let's just do it for next week.
Okay.
The Knicks we got San Antonio at home, then at Washington, at Miami, and let's say at Dallas, because at Dallas will be the Sunday night game. So it's 4 games. What's the record, Jay?
Whiteside's back now.
Oh, great.
Bad timing for that.
They should be able to beat Dallas, I think.
Yeah.
We're not going to beat Washington. This could be a rough. Could 1-3 be the best we're going to do this week?
Yeah, it's looking like a 1-3 week.
I mean, if I have to pick off January, San Antonio is probably a loss. Washington's probably a loss, right?
Yeah.
Miami at Miami. Let's just say we win at Miami, right?
It's possible, yeah.
Those are 1-2. We beat Dallas 2-2. Chicago, we finally get lucky and beat them 3-2. At Minnesota, probably a loss, right?
Yeah.
3-3. New Orleans, probably. Do we beat them twice?
We could. They're not that good.
Okay, 4-3. Play Brooklyn. We beat Brooklyn at home because Brooklyn's home game. At Brooklyn is still a home game, basically. So
Yeah.
6-3. Or 5-3, whatever. Then at Memphis, 6-3. At Utah, we probably lose 6-4. At the Lakers, we probably beat the Lakers 7-4. At Golden State, we probably kick the crap out of Golden State. We're 8-4. We beat Denver. We beat Phoenix. I think the Knicks are going to win 50 games this January. Okay, I think we're done.
If you want to feel a little better about yourself, look at J.R. Smith's stats for this season.
Oh, I have to do that before we end the show. Then you can't say that and then have me not look that up.
It's
J.R. Smith, he is 7.8 points a game. Okay, He's shooting 38% from the field. He's only 32 years old. He's really fallen off.
He's doing that. He's playing 30 minutes a game too.
Yeah, I thought maybe his minutes were diminished, but then I was like, I'm like, he has to be playing a lot of minutes. The Knicks, they're starting Jose Calderon. They have the weirdest backcourt. They have the weirdest backcourt. Like you have a team that's destined to go to the finals this year, where J.R. Smith and Jose Calderon are their guards. How is that possible?
And Derrick Rose.
And Derrick is Rose back though? Rose is not back yet, right?
No, he hurt his ankle and he had a meltdown.
Again? What happened?
Oh, when he hurt his ankle, he said, "Oh, maybe I'll just never play again." And then 2 weeks later, he like came back to the team.
By the way, Jahlil Okafor still has not played in Brooklyn.
Oh my God!
I don't understand. Why is Brooklyn not playing him?
He's got to be so angry.
Oh, actually, sorry, I am wrong. He played one game. I have just looked. He played one game. He played for 23. He got 10 points. So hopefully they keep playing him. I guess I didn't really understand. Like, why would you trade for the guy and just not play him?
I don't know. I have no idea. Injury insurance.
This is crazy. Look at his gameplay. So he played 53 games. Then with his first year with Philly, averaged 17 points a game, and 30 minutes a game. Then his second year, he's 50 games played, 22 minutes a game, 11 points a game. And then in his third year, he's played a total of 3 games.
Wow.
And not been injured.
All right. So thanks for listening, everybody. Leave us a review on iTunes. Join us. Join our Patreon, because that helps the show out. And
where should people write to if they want to give you tips on cryptocurrency?
nynixpodcast@gmail.com.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. We will be back next Sunday, and hopefully every Sunday after that.
Yeah.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye, love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. Time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye.